here at the grand finale. Air conditioning unit is finally installed. So I'll give you a brief overview of all the routing and the way I had it set up. Basically, heater hoses, they come down, go to the original bracket that I had previously installed. It goes under the air conditioning unit, through the bracketry, and to their spots. Right now I have the hose routed in the shape that I want it. I'm going to leave it there for some time to, to kind of somewhat give it some shape to that curve, so it'll be easy to route later on. And so that's how that's set up. I don't have the belts because the belts are totally trial and error, and I need to figure that out. The booklet that came with the air conditioning said 62 inches, so I ordered that, and we'll see how that works out. For the alternator belt, I calculated it to be about 29.5 to 30-inch belt, but I'll see how that works out once I get the 62-inch belt. So that's pretty much how it's set up. Got the high and low pressure lines routed in such a fashion so that I can compensate for engine torque. Here's the low pressure line, which goes around the fender. Here's a high pressure line, which goes to the radiator core support. Now, the battery tray used to be on this core support, and there was 2 screws that bolted the battery tray to the core support. One was there, which I made use of, and the other one is behind this dryer. So basically, I'll show you what it looks like on this side. So here it is. Here's one of them, and here's the other. Now the dryer takes 2 for the bracketry, so I have one there as an addition. So I made use of those 2 nuts that were on there for the battery tray. So here are the lines. I have them painted black with my truck bed coating. This line I custom bent to my specifications. This line was the kit's line, which I partially custom bent to my specifications. These are all the original vents as Vintage Air wanted them. But once I got to this area, I decided to do my own custom bending. So you see there, it does like a squiggly action right here, and then it goes to the dryer, and then this is my custom bent line for the low pressure. So the way it's supposed to be is the dryer is supposed to be up in there, but since I have all this space open, I decided I might as well put it right there, and I think it looks really good right there. I made use of that space. I don't have a big gaping hole right here. So now the power station. I wanted to simulate that the battery was here, so that's exactly what I did. I used my post, and I have my positive right here, and I have my negative there. Excuse me. Excuse me. Now the negative, I wanted to distribute the negative to different points so that I get a better current flow. So now I bought a distribution block, which is right there, and it has a 1/0 entrance and 4 gauge exits. So the first one is, first and foremost, I wanted to simulate everything from the factory. So I'm using one of the points that were originally routed from the factory. So that negative is factory. So that's in there. Another one I'm going to route is to the core support, because the headlights uses the core support as a ground. So I'm going to ground the core support to give it that extra oomph of grounding power. And then of course another one will go to the subframe on the bottom there. So that way at least I ground the subframe. The body, the actual main body of the car will be grounded through or via the battery that's in the trunk. And I'll show you that in a moment. But yeah, here it is. This is pretty much the setup. I keep the water overflow bottle in the same place. Because I have the low pressure line running along behind in this channel here, I didn't want to have the way it was originally, bolts being screwed through the fender, because then I would pierce the low pressure line. So what I ended up doing was I glued some screws from the inside coming out, and I used these cap nuts to hold the water bottle in its place, the overflow bottle, and it gives it that nice touch, nice custom touch. I don't know, I may just paint them black, just so that it blends in and hides a little bit better, but for now it's functional, so I'll have to do that later on. But that's pretty much the setup for the engine bay, and I think it looks awesome. Looks really, really good with the air conditioning right there. So now, how did I get the lines to be crimped if, for example, the low pressure line came from the actual firewall and it's a long line and it's routed to here? How did I get the crimping done? Obviously, I wasn't going to pull that line out from under the firewall, remove that air conditioning unit just to get this line crimped. So I had to do it at home. And the way I did it was by purchasing a crimping tool. And I'll show you what the crimping tool, let's see, here it is. This is the one that I got. Part number 71550. I had to do this at home because there was just no way I was going to be able to do it anywhere else. And it's pretty cool. This thing is really easy to work with. It comes with these dies that does the crimping. And basically what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put this whole unit in the vise, and then with this screw, when you crank it down, this portion will keep coming down, and once it gets to that line right there, you stop. And so each of these dies go for different size holes, and in the book it tells you which die is for which hose. So that it makes it really easy to work with. Now, because I can't bring a vise and bolt it down to the concrete floor in order for me to do this, what I ended up doing was bolting that crimper to a 4x4. And then I took the 4x4 and put it up against the tire. Well, actually, it didn't have a tire, against the brake, the disc brake. And then with my knee, I held the 4x4 up against the disc brake and did my crimping with a big ratchet. So it wasn't actually that difficult. It was actually really easy to do. And so you can see here my crimping job, how nice it leaves it. And then over here, you see, here's another one that I did. Nicely done. So it does a very good job at crimping. So I'm very, very happy with it. So now we'll move on to the back. Now for the back, let's bring the light with me. The battery's back here, and here's the way it's set up. And so I have my positive and negative, which goes all the way to the front of the car with 1O, and soldered and shrunk tape with that special glue that the heat tape comes with. So that's all done. And then to give myself some added protection, you see I installed a 250 amp A&L fuse so that I can protect my car against any accidental shorts for this long 1O cable that goes all the way to the front of the car. Can't take any chances. We don't want this car to, burn up one day. So I have that fuse there so that if anything was to happen, that fuse will blow and I protect my car from, any accidental damages. So that battery is not the battery that's going to be there. I'm going to change it over to an Optima battery. So I want one of those gel batteries. I don't want a liquid battery in the trunk. So I will be doing that. And as far as the grounding points for the body, well, how convenient that I have a hole right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to route a new 1O negative line and connect it over to the body. And that's how I'm gonna get my grounding for the rest of the car. It's gonna be a big 1/0 wire, so just one is gonna be sufficient for the whole car. So there it is. I'm very happy with the results. I did weld in the tabs for the wires there, and you see that they're red. I just painted it with some paint, so you see there's spot welds. Not pretty, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be all covered. But I got that situated, and that's pretty much pretty much the whole setup. So the last thing I need to do before singing victory is make sure that I have no leaks. So we'll have to check how I do that in the next video. But until then, I'm really happy with the results. I mean, it was a lot of work getting that on that side, but it was definitely worth the hassle because it just looks really nice, really clean. And you notice that I painted all of these in black, all of them, to match any aluminum line. I painted in black just to, you know, give it that customization. And yeah, I'm pretty much done with the air conditioning unit. Just gotta install the belts and I'm done. So, hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching.